All right. So, yesterday we were talking about communication. This week we God's really been speaking to us about things pertaining to relationships, particularly marriage. And this one is this right here is the big Kahuna. This right here is the big Kahuna. And it's conflict. And what just comes to me in light of what the Lord has spoken, is, you know, fight right, fight right. And the reason,
Yeah.
the reason I say that is because it's two different people coming together, two different backgrounds, two different family origins coming together, are not going to see the things the same. It's not going to be the same. you know. And quite frankly, I don't know if I could tolerate being with someone that is me.
Me too.
I
No,
don't know if
like,
I could. I don't know. I mean, in recovery, I know my inventory.
yeah, me too.
I don't know if I'd be married. I don't want to be married to me. You know, but here we are. So it is inevitable, in marriage that conflict's going to arise. And it is, a side note here, in family therapy, right? You know, at, family therapy, their first initial appointment, the intake, it is the couples together. And then as a part of the treatment plan, it's always recommended for individual therapies
Right.
coupled with the couple therapies. And there's a reason why they want to target first at the individual level in support of the couple level. And what I just said earlier illustrates why. It illustrates why, because I always used to remember hearing, when I'm pointing finger at one person, three are pointing back at me, and that's me, myself, and I. So in that individual point, you know, we're all in recovery some way, form, or fashion, right? Because we're all sinners falling short of the glory. We're all recovering from something. See, the thing is that I realized before I got in recovery that from an individual standpoint, uh, my personality type is conflict avoidant. I'm a runner. I run away, and 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 when I got in recovery, I thought drinking was my problem, but no, it was my thinking and my behavior patterns. Right, and my behavior patterns all stemmed around running. You know, so the thing is I did a lot of things to avoid feelings, avoid conflict, avoid accountability. I did, and then in recovery, we learn that recovery is not about getting over something,
Right.
which is another term for avoiding. And we learn to have tools, and even in therapies, we learn to have tools to get through, because storms are always going to come. Getting over the storm is great, but the strength comes in getting through the storm, particularly knowing that the Lord is with us in the boat getting through the storm. So, with that being said, in learning of getting through, I would have to learn to face conflicts because they arise. Particularly in marriage, it comes. So, in conflicts, we have a choice. We can turn away, which is part of my conflict avoidant personality. Turn away, run from, avoid, uh, argue with you in my head, right? Argue with you in my head, or go tell go tell someone else instead of talking to you about it, you know, or I could turn towards, which is as laid out in the in the humility book. indivisible mindset. You know, turn towards having an indivisible mindset, which is, you know, indivisible mindsets from the heart points to the Lord and points to God and points to unity. You know, and that's not just marriage, that's just any relationship system having an indivisible mindset, heart posture set to only want harmony. So the thing is there, I love First Corinthians 13, 4-7. And I love that we had it was a part of our wedding officiation. And I love that there because as in recovery we learn to take inventory, turn to take inventory. Also in marriage as well. It helps me have a regulator and inventory for my own heart, right?
Yeah.
So I could take that and ask myself,
Right.
am I being kind,
Right.
envious, boastful, proud, honorable, selfless, slow to anger, keeping record? Am I keeping record?
Right.
Am I delighting in truth? Am I being a safe place? Am I trustworthy, hopeful? Am I persevering? And and that gives and that and with honesty, if there's things there, that's where I need to go to the Lord and ask the heart to seek my heart, seek my heart, show me what work we need to do, you know, because if there's something there that I'm not adding up to, that's my part where I got the ball rolling. My part I play in that, in far as keeping harmony. Now for conflict, now far as fighting right, it brought to mind from Gottman Institute. He talks about the four horsemen and his four horsemen theory. The four horsemen theory is as a theory tied to the New Testament and end times, or the four horses. And it lays out about criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. And these are things to watch out for because it can be the end times for a marriage, end times for a relationship, end time for any kind of relationship system. These things are the end times. If I criticizing, I'm judging, I'm coming at you about your character, and I can instead of going to your character, the behavior I can speak about the behaviors and how they make me feel, but not your character, because character damaging your character, that's emotionally abusive.
Yes.
Contempt is basically straight up disrespecting you, disgusted by you, and the antidote for that is in that conflict, don't go to, again, attacking the character, and don't go to, even thinking, she just make me sick. Lord have mercy, Jesus. Every time she breathes.
Every time she
Right?
breathes.
No, that's not okay behavior.
No.
That's not okay thinking.
Every time.
Because again, if I'm pointing a finger,
Right.
three are pointing back at me. And I have to check myself. And contempt is, as Gottman Institute lays out, is the killer. Contempt is the killer. Completely disrespecting disrespect. That's the indicator of the marriage ending. When I'm at that point. And defensiveness, defensiveness is me not taking accountability, me making excuses, gaslighting, pointing the finger back at you. That's defensiveness. That's not taking accountability. The humility there for the antidote is you. I was wrong. I was wrong. And I know I love
that in writing?
exactly. I love it when y'all say when you tell me, can I have that
Can
in
I have
writing?
that in writing?
and then the last one, stonewalling. That is, and that is categorically tied to emotional abuse. Stonewalling, just cutting off, withholding emotion, withholding interest, withholding these things out of anger,
Yeah.
and but withholding them out of anger, or withholding emotion and withholding contact, just completely, like in a conversation and in an argument, just shutting down and walking away, or just or walking through, but not saying nothing, leaving the person to wonder what's going on.
Right.
That does a thing inside a human being that really cares, and it really is damaging emotionally, you know. And the antidote is, I'm processing this that happened, and I love you. I want to talk about this. I just need some time to process, and and when the time comes, we will talk about it. But I am upset, but I want to work out my emotions before we have this conversation. That that is healthy.
Yeah.
That is healthy, because everybody does have rights for their space.
Yeah.
Okay, we can't play God, and
Right.
we look to God, but we don't play God,
Because we all process things differently.
because we're
too.
two individuals.
Right.
You know, so the thing is that, in conflict, in fighting right, is avoiding the four horsemen, and and keeping everything we do pointed towards the covenant, our unity, and point towards God. And that is a great foundation and groundwork for conflict resolution in any relationship system, particularly marriage.
Yeah.